Cool. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Yes, this is still from the Cape Flats podcast. If you've missed episode 1 to 7, you're just in time. This is the last episode of this season. Episode 8, we made it thus far. Thank you to everyone that has been a part of the journey thus far. It's been really exciting. And yeah, super excited to be concluding with another guest today. I won't give that away just yet. But yes, today's episode is titled Limitless. So go and check out all the other podcasts on YouTube for now. And let us know which one has been your favorite. And you can tell us why, of course, as well. But yes, I'm still the Real LED. And thank you so much. A big shout out to the Let's Get Real studio all the way in Lake. That's, yes, of course, in Cape Town. And still on the Cape Flats. So, like we mentioned, episode 8, and I'm still the co-host, the Real LED. So, yeah, very excited to be here with everyone today. And today's guest, before we show who that is, just a quick recap on episode 7 was Musical Cheese, and we had the amazing Marsha grace us with a beautiful performance and to share some, light on her music journey and how she inspires. And one thing that stood out for me was definitely that music heals. That track, for one, Stronger, is something that I really love. It's one like my Spotify favorites. So go and check it out, Stronger by Marshall. Today, however, as you can see, we have the one and only Mr. Grant. So happy to be chatting to you and ending off the season of the podcast with, of course, yourself, the author now. So before we get into it, just one word of the day, please. You can also say hello to everyone if you want to.
Hello, everyone. Word of the day is definitely fun.
I love it.
Fun.
I love it. Fun. And with that being said, we're going to go to a quick fun quiz. It's called Rapid Fire because you have 25 seconds to answer 5 questions. So, I do consider you as a good friend. Grant and I have like a liquor love-hate relationship. I do like Jodie more, and of course that's Grant's wife. So I do know a bit about you. So I have 5 questions for you. You have 25 seconds to answer the 5 questions. So your time starts now. So Grant, coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Coffee, of course. So the put on a range or the walk in a range?
Walking.
Walk in a range, cool. And then writing or rapping?
Writing.
Writing, so if you don't know, Grant's also a bit of a rapper. And then the finance Grant or the author Grant?
Definitely author.
Wow! Okay, and then your time is up, but just one more. Prince of Peace or Prince of Peace?
Both.
Good answer there. But I mean, yeah, the time is up. Thank you, Grant. I hope everyone enjoyed that. And I hope you enjoyed that. Some surprises there. But of course, yeah, today's episode again, like we mentioned, is called Limitless. And I think it just showcases like our potential as human beings. And of course, you've really showcased that by, of course, venturing into writing your own book that we're going to get into. But just very quickly, one thing that inspired you today.
One thing, it was definitely like I know that we also did a couple of things earlier, and it's just working together to make sure that everything falls into place.
Nice.
And I do have to give props to the studio. I mean the hostess was like, yeah, and
Top
like
level.
everything, the hospitality, that alone, I think that inspired me because it's like it's welcoming, man. It's good to be in a welcoming atmosphere and to have people just welcome you. It is quite a good thing for me. Very inspiring.
Yeah, I agree because, it's always nice coming to a space where people are welcoming because it kind of sets the atmosphere as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they're willing to arrange some things for us as well.
Yes.
So that's cool. Made us some nice cappuccinos, We both like coffee. So I agree with you there. So, of course, maybe just very quickly, what's your understanding or what comes to mind when you hear the word limitless? Yeah, because I had a few titles for like the episodes, and then when I was like, when I knew I wanted you on the podcast, and I just checked through the title, and then I was like, okay, this one stood out for me, considering what the conversation is going to be about. So, just really quickly, like your understanding or interpretation of the word limitless.
It was actually like me hearing you say that. No, it's actually quite ironic because we actually did some things for Principes today.
Yes.
And our much earlier design that we had
Yes.
was Limitless.
Yes, I remember.
And then at the back said like, ain't nothing gonna hold me down. But if I should then just give an explanation of what that means to me, it means basically like if you are in particular situations, environment, circumstances, you don't necessarily have a limit. Everything that is limitless, there's no, like, you can't put a lid on it, you can't
Yes.
hold it down, you can't do like anything. And it reminds me of your cup running over. And it just keeps running over.
Yes,
So
yes.
I mean, in a nutshell, that's what it means to me, to have no lack in
Wow.
anything.
Yeah, abundance. Awesome. So, like everyone knows, we do things a bit differently. So, for those that don't know you, can you please give like just a bit of a introduction who you are? If you'd like to share your age, I mean, writing a book is an accomplishment, so you can share if you'd like to. And then just a brief background on like how you grew up, where you grew up on the Cape Flats. Yeah.
All my life, I stayed in Bridgetown, 7764 Athlone area. Born and raised. Yeah, we moved around a lot when I was younger. Till eventually then we got settled, went to different schools as well.
Okay.
But like, I mean, my first real opportunity came through our labs in Athlone,
Shout out to the labs.
Yeah, and I've been there for yeah, very, very long. I'd say I'm nearly heading to 10 years. God willing, I'll be 10 years at the organization next year.
Amazing.
So yeah, and I will dive a lot deeper into my age later on as when we cover. But I am 30, and I'd say that is a significant number. I'm not sure why, but yeah, I'm 30 years old.
Yo.
And yeah, I've been in 7764 all my life, but then I moved to 7785 Mitchell's Plain when
Thanks.
I got married. So yeah, and we've been enjoying staying there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I find myself in Mitchell's Plain quite often, so I understand. And hopefully we'll be seeing me in the neighborhood soon.
Always.
Always. But yeah, I mean, for those that don't know, he didn't say his name, but Grant Johnson. Grant. Thank you, Grant.
Yeah.
Cool. So maybe you can share with us what has been like one of your biggest dreams growing up on the Cape Flats. Yeah, something that you really dreamed of doing. Maybe you've achieved it, maybe you haven't. Yeah.
So back on high school, when I needed to think of a career that I wanted to do, I spoke to my principal, or like, yeah, in this conversation, and I said, nah, I actually want to go into acting. And then he then said, no, why do you want to go into acting?
Yeah.
Do you want to die poor? That is what he's saying.
Wow.
So that actually discouraged me. Then I've always had this, yeah, I think as far as primary school, I've always had like creative things, man, in my mind. Right? I've always had this like putting stories together
Yes.
in my head,
Yes.
making up characters and all of that. I was in, I remember now, I was grade 4, grade 5. Then I wrote a comic, but it was based off a what through a comic, but it had dialogue and all of that that made sense. My mind was very graphic at the time for grade 4.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it was named after a game. So I can't give it now because we live. So, but it was named
Well,
after a
I'm
game.
curious to know what this game is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll tell you maybe when the camera is off. But yeah, so I started writing, and I was actually proud that I wrote this thing in grade 4 comic. It wasn't funny. It was like a different comic. It was like this guy in the army, that kind of thing, and he survived, but now he needs to fight to survive and whatever. But that's what I vaguely remember of the comic. I wrote it, and then I didn't get the comic back ever again. I have no idea where the comic went. I borrowed it to a friend. I didn't come back again.
Wow.
So yeah.
Hey,
I
that
mean,
friend that
yeah,
borrowed the comic, please return it.
Yeah, so that was like
If
it
you're
was
watching.
a while. Yeah, that was like a whole while. So I've always had this. Then I needed to career path now when it comes to the to my parents. My parents was curious to know what I wanted to do. Then
Yeah,
I said, oh no, I actually want to write. I want to venture into this being an
Amazing.
author and stuff. But obviously, they saw a bigger picture because they also felt that the industry, that specific one, is not really sustainable. So I needed to think of something else in order to be sustainable according to them because I wanted to please them. Yeah, but I've always had this thing. So those were the two dreams growing up. Biggest dreams, I wanted to act and I wanted to write.
Wow. I mean, it's no coincidence that we, of course, having this conversation today, and I'm sure you've achieved definitely all of those dreams, and I'm sure there's so much more still, because, like you also mentioned, we are limitless. We don't know our full potential
Yeah.
As beings. My one friend actually mentioned this at one of the events that we were at, I think like last week, that we don't know our full purpose because we didn't create ourselves. And I think that's so profound because we are limitless, so we don't know what else we are capable of, right? And so, of course, today it's all about, your book and the journey that you've been on.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're going to get into that. King of the Streets. So very quickly, what inspired you to, of course, write your first book? I mean, the title, all of the above. Just like what inspired you, and why now? Like, why did you wait until this point of your life to write?
So yeah, to really be honest with you, I can only say it's God because I started on this book 2 years ago.
Wow.
Alright, I went to chapter 2 and I didn't finish. But what the actual thing that inspired me to actually write this particular one is the way people drive on the road.
Welcome to Cape Town.
when I got my license and got a car and I drove on the road and all these terrible drivers, all of that boiled up, man. And I said, no, I really actually want to tell a story. But so it's purely fiction, but I needed to develop this character, and the character that's in the book, Keith, he is based off aspects of life, things that I've experienced like on the road, and obviously him, I needed to put him against, like put him in a situation where you would end up being victorious and all of these things that's in my mind gets enacted. So yeah, so that was the inspiration. It's basically everything on the road. Like anything can happen. There's lots of things that happens on the road.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Go into
mention
it,
everything
yes,
because we
yes.
know, like
Exactly.
yeah. So it's that kind of thing. And yeah, like started 2 years ago, and for some reason I didn't. Yeah, I didn't continue. I left it there on chapter 2. This year when I reached 30, then I realized, look, I'm 30 now. But like, what do I have to show for this, man? Like, being 30. Like, really. Then, and Jody, my wife, she always says, life begins at 30, man.
Hey.
So now my life began because now, so, but like I'm saying, so like everything was like God ordained, because 2 years ago, I stopped the book. This year, I was done with the book. Then through collaborative partners such as Purple Ostrich Media, them being on board, they then supported my dream, and it was then through this partnership, that you see that hard copy in front of you. So I mean, yeah, that's why I say it's just God, because everything was just in God's timing. I don't think I would have been in this position 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's just the timing is not in our hands, man, like you're saying. So it's out now, it's printed, it's there. I know you've had many copies sold thus far. So yeah, I think just like getting into it, feeling it, having it in my hand actually is so cool, because it's real, man. It's here. It looks very cool as well. And for those of you that are driving on the road, please be safe out there, especially during this time.
Watch out for Keith.
Yeah, and yeah, look out for Keith apparently. So I don't know if you want to like read the synopsis, if you know it or what, but just for everyone like watching that's
Yeah.
interested in like either writing their own book or purchasing it, of course. Maybe you just want to get into it a bit, like why this title, and then give
Yeah.
us like a brief synopsis if you
Yeah,
are able
so-
to, please.
So King of the Streets is like I said, it revolves around Keith Rhodes, and he's a successful businessman. But obviously, the backdrop where he's surrounded is a city full of crime and corruption. So like he's a successful businessman and a devoted husband as well. But he has a dark past. So his life is shattered, and that actually awakens his dark side, because he basically the way he conducted his business, the reason why he started his business, why he was in business, is because he needs to sustain his family, his wife and his son, right? And then a tragic car accident happened, unfortunately, by Trevor Williams, which is one of the he's a ruthless criminal, right? And he unfortunately runs this taxi ring. So one of his drivers then causes an accident in which Keith loses his family. That then unleashed the darkness within Keith, and he then enacts revenge. So because the criminals, or they in this world, they are king of the streets. But when Keith then eventually takes them out, he then becomes king of the streets. And then so it tells that whole story of one king will get replaced by another king.
Wow.
If it's not
That's quite interesting, and also like some action there happening, I can hear. So that sounds interesting. Definitely, I think I mentioned to you something that could be like a movie actually. So interested to get into it. So what would you leave with anyone maybe curious in the art of writing, or wanting to write a book? What would you leave with them? What would you inspire them with?
I would say for them, they need to write everything down. Like if they want to release a story, a novel, whatever it might be, short story, write it down. Think of a title, write it down. And it's not impossible. If this is what they want, if they want something published, take it from me. I always say I'm an ordinary guy, but this extraordinary thing happened to me.
Yeah.
So I basically pave the way for those that wants to do a similar thing. And all they then have to do, they can reach out to me and I can tell them how it's done. But they need to, if you want to write and you want to be an author, just keep writing.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait for anything.
Mm.
Just write and find the time to write. Because, I mean, through having a busy schedule,
Yes.
it's difficult to find time. But if this is something that you really want, you'd find the time.
Yeah.
Because it's 24 hours in a day.
Exactly. We all have the same amount of time in a day.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, well done. Again, Grant, congratulations on this awesome achievement. I mean, I think someone actually told me to write a book out of with poetry a few years ago, and I
Yes.
just like thought about it, and I never actually pursued it because I thought it wasn't something that I like wanted to do before. But now that I'm seeing this, like it is something that can happen, man. Like, and I don't think we should limit ourselves again to what we could do or could create, because I mean we've been gifted to create, so yeah, I mean, anyone else you would like to thank, or I mean you briefly mentioned already, just for like making this happen.
Yeah.
And I mean I think you also mentioned it just shows that you can't do anything alone. And it's also boring, man, like to do things alone. So yeah,
Yeah.
any
shout outs?
yeah, any shout outs.
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to thank Prince of Peace for giving me the time to actually write. Shout out to Jody Johnson, my wife, for giving me time to write. Another one is definitely Purple Ostrich Media. Through their collaboration, this wouldn't have been possible. I also want to thank my book distributor, Show for Books. They then made this happen in a very short period of time. So big ups to them. And lastly, like the whole of our labs, just the environment of allowing me to dream, allowing me to
Showcase.
yes,
Yes.
and just the culture there that inspires you to actually then do something more, that you can actually achieve this.
Follow your dreams.
Yeah, so
yeah.
it was them that actually believed in my dream. So big ups to them. Yeah, just for everything. And I mean, thank you for having me on the show as well. Big ups to you, and Kind Arts and everything that you guys do. I know that you guys. A part of what I also want to say is, you guys made my dream also come true for like acting. So
Yeah.
I've been in a number of your projects, and yeah, for that I want to thank you guys, because I don't think that would have also been possible.
And I mean, it's so cool to see you like unpack the rest of what you've been gifted with. So I mean, it's really just what we're supposed to be doing for one another, I believe. And watch the space. I can say watch the space. There's more in store. I'm really excited for 2025. I think this year was like really crazy. I read something online that said this year felt like a surgery while you were awake, something like that. And I was just like, wow, that's crazy. I think a lot of people
Yeah.
can resonate to that. I mean, even personally for us, like, our church family and all of that, we experienced something really like, hectic
Yeah.
for us. So, I mean, all around, I think it wasn't just us, but people are going through, or at least went through a lot. And so it's really amazing to have made it thus far. And what a time to write this book. Please be safe on the roads, everyone. Again, Grant, thank you so much. And
Okay.
if you haven't, wait very quickly, where can people purchase? How can they purchase?
So they can
please
reach
let us know.
out. Yeah, they can reach out to me on my email for now. And
Keeping
then
it professional,
yeah, they can email me for a copy. There's also a pre-order link that I can circulate. They can take my WhatsApp details down as well, and I can circulate a pre-order form. We are working to get the book online,
Nice.
as well as in the future also an audiobook.
Love it. I love it. Thank you so much again, Grant. And I do know Prince of Peace, and we definitely representing. Also has like an online store, so go check out some cool merch there. I don't know if it's gonna be there, but we'll also put the pre-order link on the podcast.
Okay.
In the description. Again, just thank you. Yeah, of course, to our creator for making this possible.
Okay.
Thank you to Let's Get Real Studio once again. Prince of Peace was sponsoring our merch, even though some of us did bad. And yeah, just thank you to everyone behind the scenes, Jody and Xavier as well, and everyone that's been recording the audio for us today from Let's Get Real Studio. That's all for Yo, from the Cape Flats Pod. We hope that you were inspired today and continue to inspire. We'll chat soon. Bye. Thank you.